Well, hello and good afternoon and welcome. Welcome to my world, folks. Welcome to another episode of Cut the Card Lunch and Learn series. Well, hello there, Miss Joanna Elizabeth Rincon. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Mr. Cedric Lafleur. I'm doing
Cedric
awesome.
James LaFleur. um, so every Wednesday, another lunch and learn every Wednesday, another episode of Cut the Card Lunch and Learn series will release, and I'm excited to be here with you today. Today, we're going to be talking about the first 10 minutes, how to pitch your ideas in 10 minutes or less. You see, before we get started, I want to talk with you about what Cut the Card is, right? Cut the Card is a 30-minute training that airs on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn. It's going to help elevate your mindset. It's going to help you set goals. It's going to help you get outside your comfort zone. Now, Joanna, let me tell you what. Sometimes what happens with Cut the Card is we're going to help people start saying things like, I am already good enough. I earned it. I am smart enough to do it. I am because I am. Now, I'm not even done yet, John. And here's what the other thing is going to do. It's going to give them that, what we call the it factor. The it factor is visualize it, pray about it, plan it, work it, live it, and don't give up on it. Now, that's some good stuff, right?
It is.
Well, that was not too enthusing. So, folks, that was some good stuff, okay? Trust me, it's some good stuff, all right? So there's something magical about 10 minutes, and smart entrepreneurs know that, right? John Medina is a molecular biologist at the University of Washington, and he says, we have a built-in clock that causes us to tune out a pitch or a presentation or a lecture after 10 minutes. See, fortunately, there's proven ways to make the most of those 10 minutes. As a person in the leadership development space and in the communication space, I know it's important that we pay attention to this 10-minute rule, and it's really true, right? So, for example, Richard Branson used to hold pitch competitions at his house on Necker Island. And what he would do is he'd have the entrepreneurs pitch their idea in 10 minutes. And then he would say, if they can't get the idea across in 10 minutes, it's too complicated. Okay. Similarly, 2 years ago, military instructors teaching advanced tactics in nuclear weapons proliferation brought in an author to talk to the class around this topic, right? And the class had been assigned public speaking books to help them communicate better and more effectively. One of the instructors said, these officers will be sent to the Pentagon and to other parts of the world after the class, and they'll be asked to share their analysis of a situation at a moment's notice by senior leaders. Then they had, in some cases, 10 minutes, but sometimes they would have a shorter time than that. So this is why this is important. So whether you're pitching to a celebrity entrepreneur, sharing key ideas to leaders on a cause or a call with potential investors, here's how to make the most of the 10 minutes you have by answering the 3 questions that we're going to discuss with you today. So are you ready to go, Joanna?
I am ready to go. Let's do this. Okay. All right. So what's the idea, right? Well, that's the first question. What's the idea? You see, a journalist often says, don't bury the lead. See, a pitch or informational presentation isn't a novel where your audience has to be patient to wait till the end to find out what happens, right? You see, Michael Moritz, he's an early investor in Google, and he once said that Sergey Brin and Larry Page, they explained their idea in one sentence. Now, I want you to pay close attention to that because I'm going to tell you that one sentence. And here's what they said. Google organizes the world's information and makes it universally accessible. Now, do you hear that? That was short and sweet and to the point. You see, in that one sentence, Moritz was hooked. And that's why he invested in Google. And so the same strategy works for an informational presentation. See, if you're meeting to discuss the new budget, start with headlines. So something like this. Hi, everyone. You'll be happy to know that thanks to our team's great work, we've been approved for a budget increase of 10% over last year. You hear how that sounds? It's concise, short, and to the point. And that's what we want you to get from this. So I hope you're writing some things down, because we're already giving you some gold here.
Right, absolutely. And what I want to do is I want to share with you a couple examples that I put together just in my business, so you can see that this really works. So, for example, with LaFleur Leadership Institute, my why is this very simply. We exist to help your organization grow best-in-class leaders, to help improve your team's performance, to accelerate your market momentum, and to ensure your team delivers outstanding customer experiences. So in that statement, I tell you right up front what we do, why we exist, why we're here, how we can help you. Let me give you another example. We have a youth program called Wave Youth Leadership. Here's what we say. We exist to help school districts accelerate the academic achievement of all students, particularly low-performing and underperforming students, to improve student values, ethics, and character-driven leadership. Boom, we tell you right there. Let me give you one more example. In our Grind 365 series, here's what we say. We exist to help facilitate consistency, transformation, and self-discipline in the mind of champions. You see, so right up front, you know exactly what we do, how we do it, and why we do it. In one sentence, you've got their attention. Now you can answer the second question every person has on their mind.
And that is, what's in it for me? You see, one senior manager at one of the world's largest tech companies recently said that sales professionals, they're taught the 10-minute rule before pitching the company service to potential customer. But isn't the first 60 seconds that really count, right? A sales pitch might begin like this. And I want you to pay attention to this. We ran the numbers. By adopting our services, you will be saving your company millions of dollars, which your CEO will love to hear, and it will cut the time you spend installing updates by 50 hours per month. You see, this powerful opening pitch accomplishes two things. And the first thing is, it tells the listener that they'll look like a hero in front of their bosses, right? Everybody wants to look like a hero in front of their boss. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing that sentences tell you is that they will get precious time back to spend in other activities. You see how powerful that is? And so, in other words, your value proposition will solve a problem, and it will make you look good in front of your boss. So now, I really want you to pay attention, because this is so good. And I hope you're writing this down again, because that's what you need to keep in mind when you are doing these prepositions, when you are selling. The first 60 seconds, those are the one that counts, right, Cedric?
Absolutely. So what's in it for me? I really love that, Joanna. And so I'm going to give you some examples here. So with LaFleur Leadership, we said the number one criteria for advancement and promotion in the workplace is effective communication, right? So help your team with strategies for more effective communication. Right? That's what we want you to really understand. We know that connecting increases your influence in every situation. So we help your team utilize systems and processes to better communicate. Right? So I'm going to give you a couple more examples of this, of what's in it for me. In our WAVE that I talked about, the WAVE Youth Leadership earlier, right? So students who meet regularly with mentors are 52% less likely to skip school and 37% less likely to skip class, right? With that, we provide interactive and engaging student development programs to ensure students develop the skills, knowledge, and attitudes needed for effective communication, leadership, and positive social change. See, in what we're saying is, well, in this, we're telling the audience what they're going to get. We're telling school administrators what they're going to get. We're telling superintendents what they are going to get by bringing Wave Youth Leadership in. Let's look at our Grind 365 series that I talked about earlier, right? We say successful and unsuccessful people do not vary greatly in their abilities. They vary in their desires to reach their potential. So we inspire transformation and growth through action, meaning doing. You see? So we're telling them right up front what they're going to get from this, right? Now, those opening pitches that I talked about earlier accomplished a couple of things. With LaFleur Leadership, those statements are telling you we can help you with advancement and promotion, and we are going to help you increase your influence with others, right? Everybody wants advancement in their careers. Everybody is looking for the next big promotion, right? So that's what we're telling you. Now, with Wave, what we're saying is we help increase the chances that the student will decrease the chances that the student will skip school or skip class, right? It also improves student skills, it improves their knowledge, their attitude, which all contributes to an overall improvement in school climate and school culture. And finally, with Grind 365, what we were telling you is that if you want to be successful, if you want to go to another level, then we're going to help you by inspiring you through transformation or change. That transformation means really change, right? And through growth, through your actions. Remember I said actions are doing? It's going to be through actions and doing, but only to those who are willing to pay the price. Now, the price is this, Joanna. The price is time, energy, and effort. You see? So when you're talking to organizations, you want to tell them up front what's in it for them.
I love that. That is so powerful. The number 3 question is, do you have a story or example, right? This right here, this is super, super powerful. You see, a few people will remember every detail of your slides, but they'll remember the stories you tell. Storytelling we know it's an ancient rhetorical technique to transfer information. And today's science is proving that it does work indeed, and it works magic. And I know Cedric gets a really good storytelling, and he uses them a lot in his trainings, and they do work. You know, a CEO of a company that sells software once said that its top sales staff were those who use a relevant customer story or a case study in the first 10 minutes of their presentation. Do you hear that? In the first 10 minutes of their presentation, they use a relevant customer story or a case study. And so the sales data proved that good storytellers have a distinct advantage. Now, Cedric, I know you have an amazing a story bank that you have available in your services. So if you need some help with stories, Cedric can help you with that. There is a great database that he put together, and you can certainly take advantage of that and talk to him. He will definitely help you there. So the next time you are on deck to present in person or in a Zoom call that's scheduled for 30 minutes or 60 minutes, make no mistake that your audience will tune out after 10 minutes. Okay. So they might remain on the call, but their attention will drop dramatically. And that's why we want you to get this point that the first 10 minutes, they're so important. And that's why you have to be so keen on your message, right? You have to create that impact on the first 10 minutes, because your job on the first 10 minutes is to identify your big idea, sell the benefit, and tell the story. And when you do that, your audience will love it, and they will stay there, and they will buy from you.
Absolutely, Joanna. Absolutely love these things. Let me just recap what we talked about. Number one is you got to identify what the big idea is. Number 2 is tell the audience what's in it for me. And number 3, do you have a story or an example? Now, I have a story for you today. Okay. There's a little boy. Of course. There's a little boy who was fishing, and he was with his friends, and he was catching these fish, and he was just throwing them in his bucket, the little fish, and he was throwing them in his bucket, right? Then all of a sudden, boom, he hooked a big fish, and he says, oh my God, I have a big fish. And he wrestled with it for about 20 minutes or so. And finally, he got it in his boat. Boom, they were holding it up, this big old fish, and they were looking at it. They were taking pictures of it because they wanted to remember this. And all of a sudden, he unhooked the fish and he threw it back. And his friend said, whoa, wait a minute. What are you doing? Why did you throw that out? And the little boy looked at him and he says, well, my frying pan is only 9 inches wide. Now, you see, this story, Johanna, reminds me of how people thinking can limit them, right? So my question is, the big question I have for everyone that's listening, what's your frying pan story? What's your limiting belief, right? See, that little boy could have done a lot of things to put that big fish in his frying pan, right? Could have cut it up. He could have got a bigger frying pan. He could have borrowed a pan from someone else. All kind of things he could have done. He could have shared some of the fish with other people, right? So my question is, what is your frying pan story? What's your limiting belief in your communication? What's your frying pan story in your skills or your abilities? What's your frying pan story, your limiting beliefs in your career, in your entrepreneurship journey, in your family, in your finances? What's your frying pan story? What are you limiting yourself on?
I love that story. I always love it. Every time you say it, it just reminds me how sometimes we can limit ourselves so much just by, putting ourselves in this little box. Absolutely. Well, thank you. This was a great session, Cedric. Thank you so much, everybody who tuned in to another session of Cut the Cord. We really appreciate you. And again, our goal here is to help you and your teams to get to a higher level. And we want to hear from you. So tell us how we're doing and how we can best serve your teams. Let us know what they're struggling with, if it's communication, maybe teamwork, collaboration, creativity. Let us know. Send us a message. We're going to leave our emails on the comments. And just send us an email with the subject line, Cut the Cord. All right. I hope you enjoyed this session. Cedric, see you next week. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you guys very much. And we'll see you next week as well. Don't party too much and have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, remember I said it's over now. You can go back to work. You can't just sit here and watch it. Bye-bye.